So, film file from the foyer. I forgot what number we're up to on the episodes.
5?
5?
72.
5?
Say 5.
Something. So, introducing around the table, starting with...
Jason.
Lisa.
Rob.
Kase.
Cassie.
David.
And it's myself, Andy, here once again to kind of cheer it and listen to everyone dismiss me for saying that Brave is actually quite good. I'm
Got
aware,
the first dig in there. Got the first one.
I'm aware that I am basically on my own with this one, but I will defend it.
The kind of controversy we're looking for.
I think if you come up with some good points, I will come up behind you and be like, yeah.
You'll do
like
what
that.
behind? Easy, Tiger. Before we move on to the main topic for this month, which is, of course, animations, tying into Kase's excellent quiz this month again. We're all going to give you a virtual clap this time, because last month you gave us a virtual bow. So, virtual clap.
That was a bit, okay.
Fantastic, guys.
We're just going to put the sound bites in later.
No. We'll just leave some dead air.
Lisa, do your one-handed claps.
Really
Oh yeah, Lisa
Well,
did
you
one other
do
clap.
your
one-handed clap.
Do it
Only
right
if
now.
Case clicks.
Okay, Case will click and you can do your one-handed clap.
She says that because I can't click, so she's never
Yeah.
going to do it.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just once.
Oh!
Yeah.
But it's great because
Whoa!
it's
guys,
like a
it's
ceiling. Can't see it, so we just got to think it's a normal clap.
Okay, next month the camcorder's coming. You've got to get these things on camcorder. That was weird. Let's just.
Did you know some people can whistle by breathing in instead of blowing out?
Like that.
It's weird.
You know when you say
I
something,
think that's pretty much
everyone
all of
except
us.
you.
That's the way I whistled for about 15 years.
And anyone who listens to this podcast who's got a hearing aid has now just gone.
Yeah.
Anyone seen anything? I mean, I'm still. I'll let it be said that I'm still going through that malaise that I was suffering last month, where since the Oscars, I've just not had any enthusiasm to watch films. There's a load of films that I look at and go, "Wow, that looks like it's going to be great. That looks like it's going to be fantastic," but I just can't be bothered.
See, I actually think there's been like a glut of like really good films this past month. I think it's been quite. I've been struggling to see them all, and I haven't seen them all yet.
I think since watching Grand Budapest Hotel, that's it. It's pinnacle for the year.
Yeah.
I've done the best for the year.
You kind of knew as soon as it finished, didn't you?
Yeah, it's like nothing's going to match up to this. May as well switch off the rest of 2014. We were about to all see Captain America when we recorded last time.
Yeah.
Has everyone had a chance to see it now?
Yes.
Yep.
I have. Everybody that wants to. Yeah, everybody that wants to.
Everybody wants to. And what was the general consensus of opinion, guys?
Much better than number one. Different sort of film, but much better.
I got confused because I didn't remember what happened in the first one.
See, I agree with
got
Case.
frozen.
I agree with Case, but I really like the first one. So it sounded like you didn't.
Well, I did like it. I just thought it was pretty standard. Standard Joe Johnston trying to do Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Was
Megan
Megatron a
Johnson?
good villain?
Hugo Weaving is
Oh,
Megan,
yeah.
is Megatron
Yeah,
and Red
right,
Skull.
I think I enjoyed it more because it was a lot less campy. I find campy superhero films can sometimes really get under my skin. Like the new Amazing Spider-Man 2, really did not enjoy it at all because it was trying to be something it wasn't, and that bothered me.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. But I think certain superheroes, camp works really well. For example, Iron Man, campiness works really well because he's got that flamboyant character. I feel like Captain America doesn't have that sort of character in himself. He's quite a serious person, so I feel like a more serious film fits him better. And I really love Bucky Barnes, so I like seeing him more.
You'd never hang out
and
with Captain
different.
America though, because he does look boring. He'd never laugh, would he?
I'd hang out with Falcon though. He is awesome.
Yeah.
Falcon is best.
He's cool.
Yeah.
He's the dude.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
definitely a dude.
Falcon.
I hope that he does more in the Marvel Cinematic
He's signed up for like
Universe.
9 films.
Yeah.
hasn't he?
It's pretty much the standard contract for all of them now.
Yeah.
You're going to be in 9 films. What 9 films? You haven't decided yet because we've not made them.
Don't know who's going to be in that.
I really liked the action sequences in Cap as well. Each one felt quite different. Than like the elevator fight scene was fantastic.
Tight, claustrophobic, and intense.
Felt very much like the Raid had influenced. I haven't seen the Raid 2. I've seen the Raid, but that kind of hand-to-hand kind of. Well, I really liked that, and it was the biggest Marvel movie since Avengers. Like the one that had the biggest impact on the universe. Like Iron Man and Thor were quite inclusive, whereas Captain America was about the rest of the world. So I really liked.
It's supposed to lead on quite nicely to number.
Yeah,
It's spun off and affected the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, which has
is
become phenomenal over the past few episodes.
Definitely.
The tie-in to Captain America Winter Soldier
It has given it that shot of adrenaline.
is absolutely brilliantly played. Didn't show so well when it aired in the US, mainly because it was airing on the episode of which ties into it. aired 2 days after Captain America Winter Soldier
No,
came out, and I've got a nagging suspicion that a lot of people were waiting to catch up with it after they'd watched the film, because it was promoted as this is going to tie in and give spoilers to the film.
The way I had heard it in the US, there was an episode that of Agents. It was like a mini trilogy almost. There was an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on the Tuesday, and then Cap came out on the Friday, which kind of answered certain questions from what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. set up, and then the following Tuesday there was another episode. So it was like
it was a
little event type
but it's like
thing,
that second part one people didn't tune into as much because you know that most of the people hadn't seen the film at that point and they didn't want to get spoilers.
I remember hearing about the ratings
but
for that.
The
really low.
extra released figures the following week when it had the DVR recording figures, they shot up. So it's given the boost in the arm and it's built hope for those of us who stood with it and wanted to get a second season. Although what it's going to be now, because what is S.H.I.E.L.D. now?
Agents of Nothing.
Agents of Nothing.
Which is a line from the show, so I'm not...
Oh, spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Well, you've seen
I thoroughly enjoyed Winter Soldier. A lot of people refer to it as Avengers 1.5.
Yeah.
I'd kind of agree with that. It did feel that grander scope than the rest of the self-contained movies.
It had a lot of the Avengers in it as well.
Yeah.
It's so closely linked to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Exactly,
as well.
yeah.
I'd say it was the most grounded in reality Marvel film that there's been. Because they've all been... I mean, Iron Man, even Iron Man's to an extent is quite fantastical. But this was like very gritty 60s, 70s conspiracy thriller, spy drama.
Well, that's what Joe and Anthony Russo said about sort of he wanted to do.
And I think it worked. It gave a reason for a Captain America film. Because the last one, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it as well. But it was a bit unnecessary and, yeah, they could have just done that origin story as part of another film.
It does have my favourite cameo of all the Marvel movies, which has got nothing to do with...
it's Community, guys.
Yeah. Brilliant. I lost it when I saw him. It was amazing.
It felt like
you were like...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I really wanted his name bursting the deer.
Yeah.
It would have been...
But another part of the Marvel Universe, the Sony Marvel Universe, Amazing Spider-Man 2 also came out.
What a dream. I have a lot of issues with it anyway because I was a massive fan of Andrew Garfield and I feel like these films have kind of just stunted his career and that bothers me because he's not doing anything else, he's just being Spider-Man and that bothers me because he's a great actor but he's not great in those films and those films are not great.
Just being Spider-Man. He is the best Peter Parker representation that's ever been on film. He is amazingly like the comic book.
Yeah, he has got being a dick down to a
That doesn't bother me. It's just that he's not giving great performances because the films don't allow for it and this film in particular just was ridiculous. I was laughing all the way through, but not because it was hilarious, because it was so stupid.
Sitting next to Kase and watching this movie made this movie better for me.
Just with comments of outrage, comments of, is this really happening? What is going on here? Why does this man have a crazy German accent? Does he need to be German? It's
Russian.
just such a massive stereotype.
After the first one,
crazy
giant lizard rampages around.
Maybe because the character is actually Russian in the comics, so...
But does it need to be such a heavy stereotype? It felt really heavy-handed. There were no...
Was it the acting standard?
Have you read what Paul Giamatti said about that?
Yes, but it's Paul Giamatti as well.
But he's terrible.
He said that that was exactly what they wanted. He said he was hamming it up 1,000%. So,
but it just really bothered me, and the fact I felt no emotional connection to any characters or any relationships apart from Peter and Aunt May. That was the only one I cared about because they act really well together, they play off each other really well. But when, spoiler alert, the end of the film happens, I didn't care. I wasn't sad. I wasn't bothered.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, but you know...
That's not a spoiler, but
the film
end of the film.
Yeah, but I don't want to
There's
specify what
credits as
happens.
well.
Yeah. But it really didn't bother me at all. He didn't seem that affected.
No, that kind of bothered me.
Like, he was sad at the moment, and then, let's move on.
He stood at a grave where seasons changed.
For seasons.
Seasons in a short space of time.
Yeah,
What did you want? A 3-hour monologue afterwards about like how he's been affected? That's for the future films to then start throwing in his Uncle Ben died because he wasn't Spider-Man. She died because he was Spider-Man. He's now got that torn conflict of a character.
But come on,
Also-
seasons changed in a short space of time. He broke the
I
weather.
didn't feel that he cared. But also, the constant appearance of Dennis Leary just being like, you shouldn't be doing this, that bothered me. And the crazy, stupid song that was playing in the first big fight he has with Electro, where it was like, bass,
I loved it.
beat drops.
I loved that.
But before the beat drops, it's all like, I admired you, you broke my heart, blah, 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 big fight. It just was terrible. I really hate
I
thought it was even more distracting that Electro looked like the blueberry panna cotta ice cream from Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
I do pretty much agree with everything you said, but I did like it a lot more than you. I think the opening where Spider-Man is taking down Paul Giamatti, whatever his name is. That opening scene was like the most Spider-Man has ever been. That was brilliant. Whereas just joking about with the bad guys and
my major problem with the film was the advertising.
Yeah.
Where they had like advertising the Rhino,
Sony products everywhere.
Not really part of the film, and then the Green Goblin in it. Will he be in it? Yeah, he's in the poster.
I was really upset that they didn't use Chris Cooper.
Yeah,
really,
he would have been great, and then he was there and gone within like 20
all his art was in the
I'm not going to throw any
good.
spoilers out because they didn't spoil it for anyone who didn't know the comics who have been coming up to me going, "Oh my god, I can't believe that happened!" Like in the film, it's like, yeah, 30 years ago, I was traumatised by that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to spoil it for anyone by saying that Norman Osborn's died 4 or 5 times in the comics.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but I would like to go down that route because we don't want Chris Cooper, as great an actor as he is, Oscar-winning fantastic actor, to compete with Willem Dafoe. It's the same reason why we haven't got anybody to replace J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. That's the reason why he had to be replaced by an email.
He would have been
in that
great.
film.
And it was one of the best
touches
parts
of J. Jonah Jameson in the film, I absolutely loved that you just got the character of him just from a couple of email headings. I love that you didn't see JJ, but you got the character. It's not a great film. It's not like the first film. It's flawed.
It's better than the first.
But I thought that the film had enough fun to carry it and carried me past the flaws, and I thoroughly enjoyed the end result. Can't wait to watch it again. I'm bringing my son to watch it in a couple of days.
See, Electro felt like all the marketing was Electro is the bad guy. Electro is the big bad that Spider-Man's got to take down. But in the end, slight spoiler, I suppose. In the end, he was a little bit more than a lackey. You know what I mean? He wasn't.
But his character wouldn't allow for it because he's all he's ever done is like follow and he's too timid to say anything. He's never noticed and whatnot. So when someone more powerful says he needs him, he slots straight back in.
No, I disagree with that because by the time he becomes Electro, he's kind of gone past that. He's the powerful one at that point. Then he's gone past the timid Max Dillon.
Immediately doesn't know what to do with it.
Immediately, like that first scene in Times Square when he's confused and doesn't know what he's doing, then he's kind of like that. But as soon as he's in what's the prison called? The prison they're in anyway, doesn't matter.
That's how affecting this film.
When
Ravenclaw?
Ravenclaw, something like that. Yeah. By the time he's in that,
10 points to Jason.
What's his name? Harry Osborn is like, I need you, is what he's saying. So it's empowering Max Dillon to be the bad guy, to be Electro, and he does nothing more.
Because he doesn't know how.
And
he has the power, but he
still
doesn't know how to do it.
It still only takes Spidey about 5 minutes to take him out.
Well, he's still got no motive for actually doing all this destruction. He never really explains. Surely that's more towards my point, not making him a bigger bad guy.
The destruction is people notice when he's breaking stuff. That's what he discovered in his little scene where he awakens his powers. And then he's just not got the brains for it. He's he's smart, but he's not that kind of person. So when he is empowered, he doesn't know what to do with it. It's like you throw leadership at someone. Some people just can't cope. They don't know how to lead people, so they just slip back into a role and let someone else take over. That's not his character.
Woo, politics.
I just think a lot of it is based on the fact that when the first film came out, I supported it when a lot of other people were discrediting it and saying that it's not very good. So I was like, well, actually, it's not that bad. I did enjoy him.
Ideas was the people he talked about.
I did really enjoy his interpretation, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, it was good. I liked it. And then I saw this one and I was like, actually, really, I'm not enjoying this anymore. Can he stop making films? Can Mark Webb go back to making other films? And everyone just lead happier lives. That's basically what I want.
See, I like how it just, all the Amazing Spider-Man films, both of them, all two, everyone's motivation seems to be anger. They're all angry all the time. But Lizard, I'm angry. Green Goblin, you won't do this because it's bad for my health. I'm angry. Rhino, I'm just angry.
Sums it up quite well.
I thought the exact same thing. All the way through Amazing Spider-Man 2, I was thinking, why is he even bothered? Why is Electro even What's he doing? Why doesn't he go home? So, I'd have a sandwich.
Just come home.
Yeah.
I did like how they used Electro's powers, how he non-corporeal at times. It
Gradually
good.
built on
good,
what he could do.
Yeah.
As he started to work out what
that
he was capable of, you saw him starting to use it more and more.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely like the look. I mean, take away from the story, the look of it and the way it was all done, the special effects were incredible.
Yeah.
Especially
I
with
had
the
no
way he
issue
was,
with that.
especially the way he was moving around and stuff and climbing up his own webs and all that kind of thing. It worked so much better, especially because in the first trilogy, you saw quite clearly that he was shooting a web into thin air where there's no buildings.
That's the best kind of way.
Anyone seen anything else this month?
Yeah, Lock.
Worth
Really
talking
good.
about.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
So everyone's looking
I
at
haven't seen it.
I was in a really bad mood when I was going to see it. So I was just like, no, I'm
It's
not.
because he'd just been as the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Lock was really good. Do you want to say words? Say words.
Speak words, please.
It might not be any good.
Go on.
Yeah, it's really
Do
good.
it in your best Tom Hardy's Welsh accent.
No, because I sound Arabic. Yeah, no, my Welsh accent just sounds Arabic, so I just won't bother. Yeah, but it was really good. Yeah, it was strangely sort of incredibly simple and amazingly complex all at the same time. And yeah, it's so different. Such a really good story out of nowhere. I had no idea walking into the cinema really what it was about as well, because the trailer was always like stunning, amazing, and it was like, there's nothing. You
Just
really
shots
don't-
of Tom Hardy and some big bold words.
Yeah, exactly. You really don't know what you're walking into, and I suppose it would be quite hard because it's sort of hard to explain what it's all about.
Yeah,
it's
just-
literally just
Essentially,
you know,
it's a guy having different types of personal crisis whilst driving to quite a big crisis that's happening. Yeah, I think it's really well done. As far as one-man stories go, there's been quite a few in the past couple of years. I think it's done it really well. Like, All Is Lost was brilliant. Buried, I've only seen half of, but half where it was Ryan Reynolds in a box. Yeah, brilliant. I think
Ryan Reynolds in a box. It's my dream.
Oh, worst
Did anybody
it?
see a film from a couple of years ago? It's called Frozen, but it's not the Disney Frozen. It was
yes.
It had Iceman in it, which was the
23 minutes and.
It's not the Disney. It's not. I'm not talking about the Disney movie. It was. It was 2-3
Let
people
it
that were
go.
trapped up the top of
I'll see you later, guys.
It was 2 or 3 people that were trapped to the top of a ski
the
lift
lift,
thing.
yeah.
The worst part about it was I had Iceman in from X-Men and he just wasn't using his powers. I don't know what was going on. He's in his element. That's just add to the list of like Man on Their Own movies. That was a really good one that not a lot of people have seen. And
It's a really good genre.
If you just Google Frozen now, it's going to be quite difficult to find.
If you've never been stuck on one of those things like a ski lift or whatever, like Pleasurewood Hills had this one, it's this little theme park down south, and it just takes you from one side of a park to the other. It's the most boring thing, and it's freezing, so I imagine that's horrible. You just sat there, nothing to do. There's people in front of you, they're doing nothing as well. You're blowing in the wind, it's a bit chilly, your legs are dangling.
That makes me not want to watch Frozen.
Which
It's
one?
boring.
Different Frozen.
This one has wolves.
Yeah.
So does the Disney one, actually. Yeah.
I sadly watched The Other Woman the other night.
Bad luck.
That was an experience.
When did you find out you'd gone to the wrong school?
It was okay. The best bits were in the trailer, obviously.
It had best bits.
But it was a giggle. It was a bit disturbed how some people found it a lot more funny than I did.
Did you have some of those weird people that you get in things that are blatantly not funny? Putting on those... Which you think that they're actually thinking of stabbing people.
I reckon that's the kind of person who hasn't been to the cinema or outside since Bridesmaids.
You can usually tell them when you're walking in because they look like the Hulk themselves in the jacket they're wearing.
Yeah. It just
Another
made
chick
me want
flick
to not
around.
laugh more.
Some of us have distinct laughs, and we're finding this very offensive.
Yeah.
See, I'm quite disappointed to see Nikolai Coster-Waldau in something like because he was great. He's great in Game of Thrones. He was great in Headhunters. I'd like to see that guy do more
He was
good things.
he was good in it. But yeah, he shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Everyone from Game of Thrones is going to be in something turgid this year.
Well, Lena Headey was in 300 already. She's got
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, she was in Dread, though.
Yeah, but that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, he sorted it out. Emilia Clarke is going to be in
Terminator. Yeah.
And of course we've got Pompeii coming out, which I can't wait for.
I'm looking forward to it. I like
2 stars on
Yeah,
Empire, Andy, 2 stars.
Paul
2 stars, eat that.
Thomas
Paul
W.S.
We
Anderson.
should tell.
Yeah, not PTA, different film.
We should tell the podcast about
Oh,
our
is this the
fantasy
Resident
cast
Evil
for
guy?
Three Musketeers. Paul Thomas Anderson, Three Musketeers.
I've always said it'd be great if we swapped around all the different Anderson directors and got them to redirect each other's films. I think that Magnolia by the guy who did Resident Evil would be amazing.
Well, you say this. Me and Kase were having this discussion where we got confused between the Paul Anderson directors, and we started fan casting Paul Thomas Anderson's The Three Musketeers. We had like Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No, Philip Seymour Hoffman was Porthos, before he died.
Who did we have as Cardinal Richelieu?
Post-death might be a bit offensive.
Was it Cardinal Richelieu?
No, he was Porthos, he was definitely
He was
Porthos.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we had some great actors. Like
I think we had like Burt Reynolds or maybe somebody like that.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Is he still
Who
alive?
did you have for
He is,
D'Artagnan,
yeah.
though?
Amazing.
You have to wind him up every now and then.
Mark Wahlberg could do
Mark
Mark
Wahlberg,
Wahlberg could do
Mark
D'Artagnan.
Mark.
Yeah.
Didn't we say Paul Dano? No, we had Paul Dano for Louis.
Yeah,
King Louis.
yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah.
love Paul Dano.
So you wouldn't recommend The Other Woman?
If you've got a
Yeah,
spare
I mean,
hours, but I wouldn't.
It's made a lot of money in America.
You've got to see like
Adam Sandler films make a lot of money in America.
I mean, it's good to see like female-led films making money and stuff,
Yeah.
but like you'd hope
Want it to
that
be
films
something
were
better.
of quality.
Yeah, but I think almost all the hype is just because of how rare they are.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Because there hasn't been one since Bridesmaids.
Wasn't
There
that why The
was,
Heat was popular as
There,
well?
The Heat,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I didn't see it. I don't know if it was any good or not.
Yeah, the Heat was good.
Yeah. That was Paul Feig as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The only other film that I've really seen is Raid 2.
Which I recommend taking a squeamish person to see. It's wonderful.
Who did you take?
Kim.
Raid 2 was such a different film than the first film, and when I first watched the Raid 2, I wasn't sure what I thought about it because it was so different in tone. It was kind of a slower pace, and it felt like the action got in the way of the story. But the more that I think about it, the more I can't wait to watch it again, and I can't wait to see a third film in that series. I want to see where it goes now. They've expanded it out. He's took what was a simple got to beat the shit out of people all the way up this office block into like a criminal empire.
I wish it
underworld.
was an office block. If just people sat at their desk like, would you sod off? Run to work.
Presentation's got to be done by 5.
Every Thursday night.
Stop blowing up the stack from refrigerator, for God's sake.
I will hit you with a stapler.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it again. It was well made. It looked great. Some of the imagery of the mud fight was a spectacular sequence.
I really need to see it. I really need to see it.
Yeah, how many people have seen that?
Oh,
I've seen it.
Hands up doesn't work here.
I spoke as well.
Yeah, there's only a handful of us who've seen it so far.
You see the first one.
The first one
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, I think I do prefer the first one.
For the intensity and the simplicity.
Exactly, because it's such a simple
Even though it was a rip-off of
concept,
Dread.
It's not a rip-off of Dread, it just happened to come out at a similar time.
What's the name of the French one?
It went into production
French one?
3 weeks after Dread finished shooting.
District B. Wait for Arrested is a TV show. District B.
Yeah, well, we might not have known each other. I'm not going to have this argument with another person. We had a year of it.
Didn't the raid come out first?
I only get like this because loads of people say, "Oh, Dread ripped off the Raid." It's like Dread finished
they
shooting 3 weeks before the Raid
My
started.
point is, it's such a
It's
simple
just a
concept.
coincidence, yeah.
So many other
Happens a
people
lot.
have probably, so many people would have thought that. So, just let them both do good films.
When it does happen on purpose in like, Hollywood, when they're making
Yeah, when they're
they're making
Olympus Has
8
Fallen.
Tarzan movies, you know.
Yeah. Oh, God.
This is literally just a coincidence.
Yeah, when it's Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Any other films that people have seen?
Calvary?
Oh yeah.
I can't believe I've not seen that.
Oh yeah, my
Oh.
God.
We have got it for very limited shows this weekend.
Yeah.
Has anybody else seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It was that and Raid 2 were the two I've
Fantastic.
unfortunately missed.
It was really, really fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a watch.
Do you prefer it to The Guard?
I've not seen it, gosh.
Have you not?
No.
That's really good.
Yeah.
God is really good, yeah.
Yeah, they got it.
It's a different sort of film.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not as
different
funny.
tone.
Well, I've heard
It's
it's
still-
more.
it's still-
It's not meant to be.
Yeah, it's still got his comic. Like, you can't obviously just take that out because that's who he is as a filmmaker. He has that comic.
Who is the filmmaker,
tone.
sorry?
John Michael McDowell.
So you can't take that out completely. There are really funny bits. There is really hilarious dialogue between certain characters, but it is a lot more serious. It's a lot darker, and but it is a really fantastic film. Really great performances from the majority of the cast as well, I'd say.
I think Brendan Gleeson is one of those actors that I watch him in any
Yeah.
film now.
Yeah. He could
has
be
been
Onion
for a
Paul
few years.
Yeah.
Oh, he did a great performance.
Yeah.
There you are.
I did say though, when I finished watching it, I find it strange that Domhnall Gleeson and Brendan Gleeson can sit opposite each other on a table and you don't realise they're related.
Is
Like,
it father-son?
Yeah. You can look at them and they can be talking to each other and you're like, that's definitely his son, because they're both really great actors, so they both really sell it. It's really good. Definitely worth a watch.
Has anyone seen Rio 2?
Yes.
I didn't like Rio 1, so you're not going to sell it to me, though.
I like Rio 1
like Rio 1.
a lot. I love Jesse Eisenberg, so anything.
Does he
he's in
play a
is great.
socially awkward bird?
Of course he does.
Should have
He doesn't know how to be a bird because he doesn't know how to
Wow.
fly in the first one.
So breaks
So
your
you said Jesse
character.
Eisenberg, so instead of talking about Rio 2, we should quickly segue into the double instead.
Yeah, though. I can talk about Rio 2.
It was very good.
We did see it, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I missed it.
Well, I saw Rio 2 in fully packed cinema, mostly kids, and none of them laughed. That gives you a good idea.
It was just you laughing.
Just
It's quite a
indicates-
telling sign.
Yeah.
I'm not defending it. I'm
Just
not
me,
saying it's a good
laughing my head
film.
off.
It was a nice continuation of the story. You got to see.
Did you need a continuation of the
Well,
story, really?
they need money,
Did he
so
ever?
yes. But it's nice to like see their kids and like the characters that were funny in the first one obviously aren't as funny in this one. But the world expands a bit more. But it wasn't great. It felt a bit forced as well. Like it felt a bit like Blue was having to go out of his way.
Was that his name?
Oh, I thought it was
It felt a bit blue.
This is a kid's film.
No, but it felt like there was a bit. It made me a bit uncomfortable. There was quite a lot of. He
Not
had
surprised.
to go out.
That'll ruffle some feathers.
Nice. He had to go out of his way, basically, to
Getting
please
out
his
the
wife
ground.
all of the time. Was the kind of the narrative of the film was that he had to change his life to make his wife happy, and I wasn't quite comfortable with that being forced on children.
That's a good moral message for children.
That you have to change
must
who you
change.
are because she wants to be in the jungle.
That's well, it's like the High School Musical 2 message, if anyone has seen that.
Definitely not.
I've seen it.
I had a girlfriend back in the day, alright?
I've got a girlfriend right now and I haven't seen any of them.
I've got a wife and she knows not to make me watch shit.
But basically,
My
this
sister
guy
Christmas
starts
morning
getting
made me
ahead,
watch it.
the main character, he starts getting ahead in the world
Yeah.
with his job and stuff, and all his friends are like, well, he's changed, we don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
So he throws it all away and becomes their friend again.
He does.
But that did spawn the amazing internet video of Zac Efron singing the Pokemon theme tune,
Yeah.
That's true.
which I'm glad that's out there in the world, personally.
I feel that my life's not complete until I'll see that out.
It's fantastic. It is
I
fantastic.
think you'll be okay.
And so yeah, Rio 2, I suppose that's a nice way to segue towards what we're supposed to be talking about.
Start up.
Oh yeah, start up.
Start Up, that's a good animation, that one. Sorry. Loads of animated British characters, all swearing and showing the genitals.
Love swear words and genitals.
Starred Up, I've not seen it myself. A lot of critics are falling over themselves to praise it and worship it as one of the best things to come out of the British film industry.
Pretty good. Not
It's
one of
Paul
the
Mann's
best,
Bronson.
but it's pretty good.
Paul Mann's Bronson.
It kept
all
my
it
attention
matters.
all the way, literally all the way through. So I thought it was brilliant.
It's a nice bonding film.
A Bond.
Really? I would not expect that from the trailer.
If you want to talk about a really bad movie, The Quiet One.
Yes, it was. It was very bad.
I don't like talking about bad movies, but
It wasn't
Yeah,
scary.
it was,
in the
it was.
slightest.
It was I wanted to maybe remove myself from the cinema, but
yeah, I'm usually quite
I was in a screening
scared
where people
person.
did.
yeah, we
Yeah.
had a few of those, didn't we?
Yeah.
People got up and left.
I'm usually really bad with horrors and I get scared really easily, but that was just not scary at all. Like, all the
I'm
bits
the
that were
same,
supposed
yeah.
to make you jump, you just...
There was one good
Didn't blink.
sequence where they were in the attic when it's all from the perspective of the camera guy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was relatively well done, but it still wasn't scary, but
What's
it was
it about?
quite effective.
I'll retract
Look it
the
up.
question.
It's about Jared Harris, who I normally really like, is like a research. He's trying to disprove supernatural.
Yeah.
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 But it's a TV show that exists. You can't disprove it.
If only. If only. He's trying to disprove that. He's trying to disprove that, but you know, as all good horror movies go, well, bad horror movies go, the woman is actually possessed by
Something.
yeah. a devil or a demon of some form.
But nothing ever really came.
Yeah, it's like
nothing ever really
right until the
happened.
very end, like, is when shit starts to happen.
Why
Like,
can
should have started a lot earlier.
Why can none of these films be like possessed by friendly, warm, dead celebrities
Yeah. I would like that.
like John
yeah.
Candy?
Because I think that would not be as funny as you think it was. I think it'd just be quite sad. You'd
Yeah.
miss John Candy.
Yeah, you just want to do
You'd
that.
spend an hour and a half being like,
You'd have him back though.
Yeah.
I ain't calling him a priest. I love this guy.
You could have an actor who is alive now, who in the film dies, and then, like, as himself. Say that, like, John Goodman is playing himself in the film.
Don't touch wood. Don't.
Why did I choose John Goodman? Say that Shia LaBeouf. Say that Shia LaBeouf is playing himself in a film and gets hit by a train. And then he comes back.
John Goodman's not just died.
And then he comes back and possesses somebody
Right.
as a. That'd be a pretty good film. Good premise.
I think that might be a Wilhelm scream there. I'm not sure how I feel about
Well,
it.
because I said Shia LaBeouf.
Have we decided that's definitely how you say his name?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia-
Shia LaBeouf. Oh,
I
God.
found out this is a conversation right now.
It means-
Praise God for the beef
Praise
or
God for
something.
the beef, that's what it means. Yeah. That's
Praise
what
God
his name means, praise God for the beef.
And people wonder why he's messed up. Aww.
Don't.
I think he went past a few
Yeah.
years ago.
I quite like it.
He's done one good film that I really like, which is A Guide to Recognising Your Saints.
That's a
which
great
is-
film.
It's a great film.
Lawless.
Great Channing Tatum as
I
well.
would say Transformers 2.
Lawless.
I like Lawless.
I didn't know.
I've got a lot of time for Lawless.
I like Lawless.
It was alright, but it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
I like trying to understand what Tom Hardy was saying at any time. Just like,
I like seeing Jessica Chastain topless. So
You like Jessica
Yeah, but there's
Chastain.
about 4 or 5 other films you could watch.
There
All
are.
that happens.
but
Better
it
than
didn't
that
also
film.
have Tom Hardy, so
Disturbia.
bonus.
What's what?
Disturbia's not bad actually, yeah. I can get Disturbia.
Rated film.
Yeah.
what about Transformers?
The first one.
Pretty
I'll give you the
underrated,
first one.
that's
Let's move
for
on to the
sure.
animation.
Yeah, let's quickly move on to the animation. Don't start me off on a Michael Bay rant.
Yeah. Save that for next month.
We'll say that for next month. This month's rant is all about Rob and Brave.
Right.
So, Rob, you promised at the end of the last podcast that you were going to revisit Brave.
I have.
I know you've got an essay in front of you.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since it came out in 2012, and I went out and bought it specifically to rewatch. It's not as bad as I remember. My hatred for it comes from people liking it for some reason. I don't understand. It's a very average movie. Like it's a 2.5. It's, you know what I mean. There's nothing particularly special about it outside the animation, which is rather spectacular. But
Is that percentage?
should be, yeah. I don't understand why people seem to like Merida so much, because to me she is one of the worst characters. She's easily the worst official princess that Disney have done, Pixar have done. She moans and whines her way throughout the entire film.
It's not just being Scottish.
Dun, dun, dun.
The main problem I have with it is the whole movie hinges on the relationship between Merida and Eleanor, and by the end of the film they're, well, not even quite by the end of the film, they're, friends again, or the family, whatever. But there isn't. you know what I mean? Their bond has been mended. Yeah.
As you should.
That's my mum.
Mum or friend or
Yeah, by the end they've
been a
sorted out
mountain.
their problems, but there isn't any real journey for that. There's one scene where they're starting to do that, where Merida is teaching the bear mother how to fish. Spoilers. I'm sorry.
It's a montage!
Exactly.
Everything happens in a montage.
It goes into a really cheesy montage, and then as soon as that's over, that's it. Everything's happy and fine again. And to me, it just didn't feel like it was. Feel like that relationship was earned. And Merida.
Wow, you are a tough.
No, I completely agree.
Merida doesn't. She never takes responsibility for it, despite the fact that she turns her mum into a bear. Even after, immediately after the spell has happened, she says it's not my fault. The witch did this. Well, no, the witch gave her something to use. Granted, but Merida didn't have to go through with
Have you
that.
ever spent any time around teenage girls?
That excuse only
when I
goes
was
so
We
far.
need to cut this question.
No, not in a Jimmy Savile kind of way.
That explanation only goes so. That explanation only goes so far. She's still a two-dimensional character.
I agree with Rob.
3-dimensional.
Terrible.
Doesn't have the whole animation.
My problems with Brave stem mainly from the fact that, like you were saying, the conflict resolution between her and her mum happens, and then there's still about 20 minutes of the film left.
Yeah.
It happens, they're good with each other, which is the only thing that you're really supposed to care about, and then the bear from the start of the film comes back and is extra stuff.
The bear, Mordu, should not. That shouldn't have been.
No.
It feels like they
It's
added
a fun
an extra
story
plot
at
to
the
add
top
to it.
of the film.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really great, like, introduction, and you get to know about her father, and she is adorable as a child. That whole bit of the film I really enjoy. And then she grows up and she's whiny and she's complaining, and it bothers me as well because she comes from a lineage of Disney princesses who don't necessarily like live the lives they want to live until the end of the film. They don't get what they want, but most of them understand that it's part of who they are, it's part of their responsibilities. Jasmine understands.
So what you're saying
Jasmine
is
is the
that
one
you don't like the
example
character
where-
because
Yeah.
she doesn't conform to all the normal stereotypes.
No,
and they dared to do something different with the character than what you
no.
expected.
My problem with it is that she is a she is a princess who is allowed to say, I don't want to be a princess. That's fair enough. Lots of Disney princesses have done that before. That's not an issue.
All of them.
Majority of them have. However, the problem is that her mum basically has to give all of the leeway, and Merida doesn't have to change.
Yeah.
Her mum has to do all of the work. Nothing is about the fact that Merida is a spoiled brat who gets to do whatever she wants.
That's because she's a daddy's girl and
she
can get away
has
with
to
murder in his eyes.
learn that. But it's not that she has to learn that whether she wants to be a princess or not. She is a princess. She has responsibilities. She has roles and duties. She has to live up to.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about her mum needs to lighten up and let her be who she wants to be, which it's not right. It's not
Completely
fair.
agree.
Yeah, but I feel that's a better message than saying, no, you should end up conforming to what society wants of you.
It's not about conforming because Disney did the same kind of plot with Jasmine and Aladdin. Like Jasmine is someone that she knows what has to happen, but she goes out and it turns out all right for her in the end, obviously. But she does that. She goes out. She tries to become her own person, and obviously it works out. She gets with Aladdin, but Merida, she's doing it from a place where she's just rebelling for rebelling's sake. She's still Jasmine is someone she still knows the responsibilities that she has, whereas Merida is
Jasmine's
fracturing
teenager.
responsibilities.
She's just a teenager.
but
she's making
so-
reckless
Yeah, but again,
decisions.
that
She's doing
goes-
exactly
so is
what
Cinderella. They're all
she's the most
Is
natural.
Ariel?
Yeah, but
Ariel's
Ariel's
16.
doing it just for a dude.
Ariel is
Just for a guy.
awful.
No, what I'm saying is they're all
She's so
teenagers.
selfish.
Merida
Jeez.
being a teenager shouldn't excuse her.
But
'cause they're all
Merida is the only
teenagers.
one which is the teenager that acts like a teenager in an animated movie. The rest of them don't act like teenagers.
No, but she acts like a modern teenager. But she's not a modern teenager. It
Ariel's
wouldn't have
weird
been
'cause
like
she
that.
fancies
You say modern
another
teenager,
species.
but I think
Never
there's
happens.
quite a lot of people who can say that their parents have probably got tales of when they were teenagers and rebelled. It's
but-
it's a
I doubt she would have rebelled like that in the time period that's Brave
Definitely,
set.
yeah.
That wouldn't have been a thing. She wouldn't have been able to rebel like that.
I feel like you're reading far too much into what is it.
No.
I feel like Pixar movies
Teenagers
call upon that kind of
teenagers
reading, though.
never rebelled in the past. I mean,
Yeah.
Joan of Arc never went out and fought, did she?
You talk about
That
reading
was
too
a
much
message
into
from God.
it.
That wasn't just her being a teenager.
I'm sorry.
They should have given her
A message from
playground,
who?
something to
A
do.
fantasy character.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree that Merida goes through the entire film and she doesn't have an arc.
No, she doesn't learn anything.
She starts the
That's
film in
Noah.
one
You're thinking of Noah.
ARC. No, she starts the film where she is, and she ends the film in the exact same place,
Everyone else has to change around her
Yeah.
rather than her learning anything.
which isn't a main
Which
character.
is true to nowadays.
If the film was about Eleanor, if the film was about her, then it would be a fantastic film. But
Yeah.
it's not. It's
I
about
like
Merida.
Eleanor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emma Thompson criminally underused as
Yeah,
normal.
She's really great.
Well, Emma Thompson has shown in Save Mr. Banks that she can take a character that's
There's like two films you've named in the
Not
last
likeable.
yeah. She could. Emma Thompson can take a film that's not inherently likable, and it makes you can warm to her. Which Eleanor, from on the face of it, isn't quite a likable character because obviously she is stopping Merida being who she wants to be. But if you used Emma Thompson properly, that character becomes much more, and Brave kind of
Rather than taking
squanders
her
her.
voice away and making her a bear.
Yeah, Brave
Yeah,
squanders.
It's
that,
it's
yeah.
more
I
that
think-
Merida, whereas like you said the other Disney princesses, they kind of know what is expected of them. They accept that, but they want to do something different. I think this journey is before that moment for Merida, and at the end of the film, she's at that stage that she accepts that at some point she's going to have to do this. But while she's still young, she's allowed to live and be free. And that's what I think the journey is. It's not the typical Disney... to say, oh, well, the other Disney films did it this way. It's like, well, why should it follow the same norm?
To say it needs to follow because it's obviously not a Disney film.
Yeah.
It's a Pixar film. So I can really commend Pixar for trying to do something different. For trying to do a princess movie and trying to do it differently. But I think... in the end, like what happened behind the scenes and what happened,
the switch.
I think it really hindered.
I don't deny it's an unbalanced film. There are. I mean, like you say, there's the book ending of it with a story which wasn't needed with more douche. Yeah. Not needed.
That's the thing. That's the thing as well. Like after Eleanor's become the bear, like they rely on a flashback to show how much Eleanor loves Merida, not anything that Merida has got to do with how she changes or anything. So again, it's Eleanor that's trying that is the key thing. It's not Merida who's changing. She's a terrible character.
It's also, I think, because Brave came out in a year that was a really, really strong year for animation, and it was not the strongest.
Wreck-It Ralph.
And yet was lauded as the best animated film that year, when it clearly wasn't.
It beat Frankenweenie and Paranorman
from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. Wreck-It Ralph. They were all fantastic films, all better than Brave. Maybe not technically as good, although I would argue that Paranorman is better.
Definitely,
better. And in terms of animation style and
story,
in terms of narrative, it's the most out of all the films that year. It's the most complete package. But I think that's another reason why Brave always irks me, because everybody is like, "Oh, Brave's such a great film."
Yeah,
it's not a great Pixar. It's not a great animated film from that year. It's not a great story.
Brave's a Pixar film that I'm happy to go back and rewatch. I rewatched it this week with my daughter. Both loved it again. There are Pixar films that I don't care if I ever see them again.
Brave is that for me. I would watch Cars 2.
Bugs Life and Incredibles are two which...
Incredibles, really?
Incredibles. Yeah, we've had this conversation before, haven't we?
Incredibles, I think, is amazingly overrated.
Wow.
I watched it once and I thought, was that it?
Incredibles is one of the best. Yeah,
I think.
I think the problem with Incredibles is that I've seen all that in various comic books, and I didn't need to just see it churned out and shat out again. It did nothing fresh. It did nothing original.
Yeah, but you say that. Like, what about Amazing Spider-Man 2? That's exactly the same as what's come before it.
But that is being the Spider-Man comic book. In what way? Basically, Incredibles is the Fantastic Four.
Incredibles was
Fantastic Four on a family, are they?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Not as in a sense of like a mother and daughter and a father and son.
They don't live in the suburbs trying to live just normal lives.
Yeah. So a different story.
So it is a different story.
If you were to compare Mr. Incredible,
stop saying Fantastic Four family because they're not.
If you compare Mr. Incredible and Mr. Fantastic as well, like Mr. Incredible is someone that he's a much better character than Mr. Fantastic, because there's a scene in The Incredibles where it's just after they've landed back in the city, I think, and he's going off to fight the big robot, and his wife, Helen, is trying to convince him to let her go with him, and he's saying he can't, and she's arguing because she thinks he's doing it because she can't handle herself or something like that, and he breaks down because he is so terrified of losing his family. And I think the fact that it gets that amount of emotion in that one scene, maybe it's been done before in long-form story, in comics and stuff, but Incredibles manages it in about 90 minutes. It's incredible storytelling, Incredible. It's one of the best. Brad Bird.
How many times can you say incredible in one sentence?
I did not do that on purpose. Brad Bird is one of the... he needs to get back at Pixar. As much as I loved Mission Impossible 4.
Well, now they are optioning Incredibles 2. No?
Yeah. I really hope...
Well, it was like the first outside director, but had done other feature films. I remember he's amazing.
I think animated feature films as well.
Have you actually said Brad Bird's coming back for Incredibles 2?
He is, yeah.
You guys right? As long as Brad Bird is back, then I'm more than happy for that.
This is what it is. Pixar are going to have a renaissance.
As long as Brad Bird's doing it, then I
think
am
we are.
perfectly fine with The Incredibles 2.
Some of them work out quite well, you know, like people really like Monsters University and Toy Story 2 and 3, like they worked and stuff, but it would be better if you did something completely new.
I agree.
The great thing about Pixar was that they had that string right at the beginning, where
Yeah.
everything was brand new,
But
completely new stories,
that is what's
not based
happening
on
now.
anything
That's what's
else.
happening. But they're
And
bringing
now they're
back.
all sequels.
but-
and it does my
Think of all the
head
different
in.
They're
collectibles.
bringing,
Think of all the different
back some of the
collectible
old
figures.
filmmakers they used to use. Let me speak.
No,
Yeah,
There we go.
The Brain Trust is coming back.
So Leon
yeah.
Cridge is coming back, and Pete Docter is coming back. And if you have to make more sequels, at least they're doing it with the original filmmakers. Like Andrew Stanton's coming back for Finding Dory, and you've got your man Brad Bird coming back for Incredibles 2.
Don't know how I feel about Finding Dory.
Yeah, who wants to find Dory?
We found her.
I
She's
adore
in
Finding
Nemo.
Nemo and WALL-E are the pinnacle for Pixar for me. WALL-E had picked Finding Nemo until Finding Nemo 3D came out and sat and watched it, and I fell in love with the film again. It was like, okay, it ranks alongside it.
And it was
I burst out crying every time I watched both of those films.
Incredible. That film.
I don't know how I feel about a sequel.
Yeah, but like I say, I'm happy Andrew Stanton's coming back to it. So
Yeah, I mean, I've got
Yeah.
faith in Stanton. I've got faith
Yeah.
that he'll do some. He'll bring something to the table.